A new month, it's time for another top 10 video, and this time I have my top 10 favorite anime 2020 edition. And this is because even if you ask me after I make this video what my top 10 favorite anime are, I'm probably gonna say something different than what I said on this list. But I am just going to link this to people when they ask what are my favorite anime, and this will be my 2020 edition. Doesn't mean there won't be a 2023 or 2024 edition. There may not. This may be the only version. But right now, I put a lot of thought into this list, and this is my top 10 favorite anime right now. Currently. So with that being said, as always, if you want to see me make videos on any of these anime, and I didn't before, because I will be putting a list down in the description with links to all of the anime on this list that I have covered, and there are some of this list I haven't, so if you want to see some of those, then make sure to give this video a like, and comment down below if you want them, because that would be fantastic if you did. It also helps this video a lot in the search algorithm and helps my channel grow, so I would definitely appreciate that as Discord goes off. Number 10. Truly a classic. My first anime on this list is Dragon Ball Z, or as I call it, Dargon Ball Z. I originally had this higher on my list because this was actually one of my first anime that I'd ever seen. Much like many 20-somethings like myself, their first experience with anime is the classic Akira Toriyama battle shonen Dragon Ball Z, but I decided to lower this to 10 out of respect because while I could watch DBZ all day, every day, I feel a lot of the reason I like DBZ is because of family, friends, and as well the plethora of spin-offs and games. No, seriously, Dragon Ball Z has had fantastic games for almost every platform. So I felt lowering this was only fair because what I like a lot about this series is kind of what's outside of the anime in many ways. But this anime is one of my favorites because it's one of the first anime to come to mind when I think of the word anime. It's also a massive hit and one of the first crossover anime to ever exist. Plus, it's an anime that has some of the most fun and enjoyable battles in all of anime to this day. You can't tell me the Cooler movie isn't fucking cool. The animation now, though, may be a tad basic, but in reality, for the longest of times, DBZ was a show that you just couldn't escape in many ways. DBZ is also unique in the sense that I feel the series is much more of an experience than I do think it's a good show necessarily. And while I love this series, I do acknowledge how outdated and weird it is by today's standards. And even back in its day, it would receive criticisms for things like the Boo Saga. But that's the thing. DBZ isn't just a normal anime. It's an experience, and a part of the experience is not only what it does right and what it sets forth in terms of trends even today, but as well the bad. But also those GBA games. Damn, those things are so good. Number 9. Sympho Gear is a shining star, and only Sympho Gear fans will get that reference. And a perfect example of an anime you may have never heard of, but it's an anime you should watch. It's also, oddly enough, an anime that celebrates the medium of anime, and is created by a group of people who have a clear enjoyment for anime of all kinds. Anime from Love Live, to Dragon Ball Z, to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, even Evangelion. Symphogear is one part love letter and one part anime where girls parry tank shells with their fists. This anime made my number 9 slot because, for one, it's one of the more recent anime I've watched, but as well, it's an anime that brought back those feelings of when I was younger and getting into the medium. As an anime YouTuber, that's something very important to me because that feeling doesn't come around often, and Symphogear gave me that feeling again. And yeah, I have to warn those trying to get into this. The first season is rough around the edges, but Symphogear is a show that improves upon each iteration and season. So while season 1 is lacking, literally every season has noticeable improvements from story to animation, art, even the music. It goes from being a small anime to this blockbuster production by its final season, and for that alone, it's worth watching. The whole thing. Number 8. While the Heaven's Feel trilogy is not completed at the time of this video's release, I know I just dated this, I'm still putting the series in my number 8 slot because of many reasons. For one, this is quite possibly Ufotable at its best, producing some of the best high-budget action films they've ever made. As well, it's the culmination of over 15 years of hard work to adapt all of the Fate routes, starting with Fatestay Night in 2006. So just for the significance of that alone, it's an event and a spectacle in many ways. I'm also a massive fan of Fatestay Night series, and even after years of consuming content from this series, I still find myself just as absorbed into it as I did the first day I got into the series. This is something special, as not many anime can keep my attention like this series keeps my attention. And Heaven's Feel is simply one of the best examples of Fate operating at peak capacity and delivering some of the best the series has to offer for one of the highest budgeted studios from Japan right now, Unlimited Budget Works. Number 7. A 90s classic by Studio Giblets. This film is one of my all-time favorites and I love it so much. I could probably watch it 5 times in a row and not get bored of it, I think. And yeah, there actually really isn't much to say about this film because all of the Ghibli Bits films have been analyzed down to the bone at this point, so I guess, it's good, really, really good, so watch it? Number 6. Another short mention, but at my number 6 is A Silent Voice. I'm keeping this short because I literally just did a 25-minute review of this film. As an aside, I will put a link to all of my reviews for the anime on this list in the description below, so go check those out, but this film touches on so many topics, themes, and stories that are relatable, or at the very least something we've all likely experienced. And this will go down as one of KyoAni's crowning achievements, so do yourself a favor already. Check this one out. Number 5. Hyouka. Another KyoAni classic, or as I call it, Hyouka. This is simply one of my favorite anime for the fact that it takes the everyday mundane and makes a mystery and an adventure out of it. Hyouka has some of the most entertaining characters and some of the best looking animation KyoAni has produced for coming out in just 2012. Even after making a 40-minute review about this film a couple years ago, I feel I could still say more about this series for a long time. And that may just be something that happens in the future, you never know. Number 4. I'm putting both FMAs on this list, and that's because I feel this series is better experienced as a whole. Plus, for some odd reason, people think the original FMA is bad, or it makes absolutely no sense to me. The original FMA is simply an all-time classic just as much as Brotherhood is, and I will always defend the original FMA just because it gets undeserved flack for being something that's not, one-to-one, which, hey, Brotherhood ain't a one-to-one adaptation either. And just because it's 4:3 as well doesn't mean it's old and dumb. And speaking of, Brotherhood is another instant classic, and almost 10 years on, Brotherhood is an anime I've seen countless times, and as we speak, is a series I am itching to go back and rewatch soon. And hey, you never know. Maybe there will be some videos in the future. Comment below, like the video if you want videos about FMA. I'd do them. I don't mind. Number 3. FateZero comes in at number 3, and this is the second Fate anime on this list. To simply put, I firmly believe this anime to be one of the best prequels to ever be made, be it anime, live action, film, book, or otherwise. This series is masterfully written by the legendary Gen Urobuchi and one of his best works to date, and this anime came out almost 10 years ago. So this series ends up developing many aspects about Fate and makes pretty much every route of Fate a better experience because of it. Just watch it. It's great. It's fantastic. Number 2. Evangelion is one of the most oddly controversial anime for many reasons which don't make sense to me, and then some that do. But this challenges the viewer and dares them to experience this 90s classic that even today is shaping the way anime is created and inspiring generations of artists to create. In many ways, Evangelion is to blame for not only the best of the industry today, but also the worst in many ways. Whichever way you see it, Evangelion is an experience and one worth being in my number 2 slot for. Number 1. Shinichiro Watanabe's classic 90s space western is an anime that has inspired me personally and shaped the way I play music as a musician. But as well, I have many fond memories staying up until 12 a.m. to catch episodes on Toonami in the early 2000s. I was enamored by the series immediately as a kid, and as an adult, I am obsessed with Cowboy Bebop. The reason this anime is on my number 1 though isn't really for its amazing story or highly memorable characters of the fantastic movie, but the score by one Yoko Kanno. A musical mastermind in her own right, she to me is the Paul McCartney of the anime industry. She's just that good, and her score is so good, it propels Bebop into a different stratosphere. At least for me personally. And so that's it. That's my top 10 favorite anime, but I do have some things to say about this list. Some fun facts, some cool trivia about this list. So I have 4 90s anime on this list. One being Bebop, one being Evangelion, another being Princess Mononoke, and then Dragon Ball Z. And that does make a lot of sense. I got into a time in anime where they were transitioning from the 90s stuff, where we're going into the early 2000s, and there was also dubs. Dubs for a lot of anime that came out, especially for Dragon Ball Z, years prior. So a lot of what I experienced in anime was a lot of what people would consider the bad era in terms of English dubs. But I gotta say, I love 90s anime to this day, and it's something that always, when I go back and I look back at my catalog of things that I want to watch, there's just plenty of 90s anime that I still want to watch out there. Classics of the time that I haven't had the time to watch, and I've even dedicated 2 whole seasons of my classic series Anime Friday to just 90s anime, and even then, I still have more 90s anime I want to talk about. It's an era that's well gone, but I still have fond memories for. And while I wasn't really able to experience it much, I was in that transitional period, going from 90s to mid-early 2000s, I still appreciate that decade so much for what it does for anime today. As well, we have 6 anime from the 2010s. We have FateZero, Brotherhood, Hyouka, A Silent Voice, the Heaven's Feel trilogy, which I guess you could also put in the 2020s, and Sympho Gear. And that does make a lot of sense. I do watch a lot of newer anime these days, but I also think there's a lot of really great anime that have been coming out in the past decade that I think a lot of people are maybe sleeping on, especially Sympho Gear. It's an underrated show in my opinion, and I think it's fantastic. But as well, there's some as well that make plenty of sense. I mean, A Silent Voice is a modern classic by I guess modern definitions of what a modern classic is. As well, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Hyouka. These are anime considered by many just to be so good that it just makes sense. As well, we have one aughts anime, or 2000s anime, and that is the original FMA, which once again, I will defend. I don't know why people hate that series so much. It does not make sense to me. It's the same reason why people hate Evangelion. I can understand, like, not liking it, but hating it just doesn't make much sense to me unless I don't know, did it kill your dog or something? It's the same thing with FMA, I think, but to a lesser extent. I see people all the time say, oh, it's old, it doesn't adapt the full story, where Brotherhood doesn't either. In fact, you're probably better off watching the original FMA, watching all of that series, and then switching over to Brotherhood. It will give you more context, it will give you more appreciation for Brotherhood, and that sadly doesn't happen because I don't know. It's just a really dumb thing, in my opinion, that people say about the original FMA. As well, we technically had 4 movies on this list. We had Princess Mononoke, we had A Silent Voice, and we, of course, had the Heaven's Feel trilogy, which there's only 2 of them out at the time of this recording. Yes, I'm dating the video, goddammit, I need to stop doing that. But yeah, I love movies. Movies are just fantastic, especially anime films. I think they're great. I think there's something about a good anime film, you know, that makes it that just makes it so fun to watch. As for studios, we have 2 KyoAni. KyoAni is one of my favorite studios of all time. It's a lot of people's favorite studios of all time, and I don't want to say they get overrated, but I think to a certain crowd they are probably very overrated. But I think KyoAni is pretty great, and they make great films. As well, we had 2 Ufotable films. Heaven's Feel. Come on. It's the 2 Heaven's Feel films. And while I have seen, I think, Gyo from Ufotable, I think Ufotable is a pretty solid studio for what it is. They just have a really high budget, and so they're able to pull off a lot of these things that other studios really aren't able to pull off. I'll definitely say I prefer KyoAni over Ufotable in many ways, but Ufotable is a very solid studio, and hey, I'm a big fan of Fate. I mean, why wouldn't I like Ufotable? So with that being said, if there's any videos from this list you want me to make, just comment down below and give this video a like. It helps with the algorithm, it helps with all of that, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell. Comment down below what's your 10 favorite anime, and as well, I have a Teespring. If you go to my Teespring store, you'll find a bunch of shirts which you can buy, and a Patreon as well if you want to support me that way. Both are in the links in the description. I would appreciate it if you check all those out. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.